Okay, I'm going to get us started. Welcome everyone to the Future Leaders Showcase on what I hope is a sunny Saturday for you wherever you're tuning in from. My name is Brittany Barnes. I'm the Director of Programs and Partnerships at Cassie and Friends. And I'm so excited to be here with you guys today, celebrating. I'm going to mute everybody. There we go. Just celebrating the work of our incredible youth leaders and our youth ambassadors that we've had the privilege of watching learn and lead their projects over the last 9 months. For over 15 years now, Cassie and Friends has watched kids in our communities grow up surrounded with support and continuous transformation. And then those kids become youth and young adults, and they come to us with their own inspiring ideas for transforming the juvenile arthritis and other rheumatic disease community for the next generation of families to come. So the Future Leaders Program was created as a hub and like an incubator space where those ideas can be nurtured and refined through access to skills development workshops, community connection, and most importantly, the dedication of exceptional youth leaders like the 6 you'll get to meet today. So before we jump into it, there are just a few thank yous that we have in order. So a big thank you to Darren Howrish and Allison Brennan, who I know are here today. Darren and Allison have been a part of this first year from the very beginning as members of our ambassador selection committee and are joining us here today as judges. So thank you both for being such strong supporters of our program. I know we have on the call Georgina Clarkson, who has been an incredible support through this first year, lending us for project management wisdom and also joining us as a speaker at a workshop over the course of the year. Jillian Wickert, who worked with us to put together some incredible ambassador profiles that highlighted both their stories and their projects so that you could all get to know who was working in our community on your behalf. And then James Richardson, who isn't able to be here today, but he's a parent leader in our community and works for MNP Consulting, and also joined us to lend his expertise as our ambassadors refine their program or their projects throughout the year. So a huge thank you to everyone and to everyone on the call for joining us to celebrate our ambassadors today. Finally, I'm really excited to introduce Deanie Stamatopoulos. Deanie is our program manager at Cassie and Friends, and an up-and-coming best friend to all of our youth leaders, ambassadors, mentors, you name it. Deanie is on their speed dial. And she's gonna act as our MC today. So Deanie, over to you to take it away from here.
Thank you, Brittany. Thank you for that warm welcome. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Future Leaders Showcase. I can't tell you how incredibly excited and just honored and happy I am to be here. But before we get started, I just want to recognize that we are on unceded land. So I personally am currently on the land of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh peoples. And I encourage you to look into the unceded territories you are settled on and to understand what that truly means and what it truly means to live on the land here in Canada. I also just want to go through a few housekeeping notes. As Brittany mentioned a few, but we really do encourage you to keep your cameras on, and then we'll keep mics muted just so that there's no background noise when someone else is speaking. And then I also encourage you to watch in speaker view. If you experience any technical difficulties, you should have received a call-in number option during registration. We have a great program for you today. I'm just going to give you a brief overview of what's going to happen today, our schedule. So we're going to kick off the event momentarily with our breakout rooms hosted by our ambassadors, actually. Later on, you'll hear from 2 guest speakers, Then our 6 ambassadors will present their projects. You will also get to meet the new cohort of leaders who are with us today. So it's very exciting that as this year is coming to a close, we are starting off our next cohort and their journey with their projects. And of course, you will find out which ambassador will be named our 2023-24 Youth Ambassador of the Year. What does this mean, though? So the Youth Ambassador of the Year will receive a $250 gift card, be profiled on our Cassie and Friends communication channels, be given the opportunity to take part in special opportunities with Cassie and Friends over the next year, and of course, the title will be added to their program completion congratulatory letter. That being said, I really, really want to emphasize that the main focus of this event isn't to select the Cassie and Friends Youth Ambassador of the Year. That's just a fun piece. You know, the main focus really is to celebrate our youth and showcase their innovative projects that aim to make a difference in the lives of kids and families living with juvenile arthritis and other childhood rheumatic diseases. And so I'm so excited that you're all here. You've all joined us today to celebrate. And it's just about celebrating them and their work. So let's just take a quick minute now to introduce our amazing judges. So we have Allison Brennan. Allison is a Cassie and Friends board member, our patient advisor. She earned a PhD in psychology at the University of British Columbia in 2014 and conducted postdoctoral research at Simon Fraser University until 2016. She now lives in Vancouver and works for MIDAX to empower Canadian innovation through partnership between academia, industry, and community. Allison was diagnosed with juvenile arthritis when she was 12 years old and is an active arthritis advocate and has collaborated with Arthritis Research Canada, participated in the BC Children's Hospital LEAP study, and attended Canadian Rheumatology Association annual meetings. Allison, so happy you're here. Next, we also have Darren Harish. So Darren is what many may call a serial entrepreneur. He has distributed, licensed, and or owned over 29 widely recognized brands, including Reef Sandals, Spy Sunglasses, Obey Clothing, Sanuk Footwear, Saks Underwear, and Native Shoes. Currently, Darren is developing a relatively new business called Beneath Underwear, where he joined as CEO and board member in June 2019. In 2015, Darren met David Port through a business group and they became close friends. This was actually 3 years prior to Darren's daughter Scarlett being diagnosed with JIA in 2018 at 6 years old. Darren is the director at large on the Cassie and Friends board of directors. Speaking of David Port, who I actually see just joined us. Hi, David. We're just introducing you now. So speaking of David Port, so he's joining us today as a judge, but many of you may add our board chair and co-founder of Cassie and Friends. So David was inspired to create a new space for JA families to connect and access resources after his then 2-year-old daughter, Cassie, was diagnosed with juvenile arthritis in September 2006. David registered for the Scotiabank Charity Challenge 5K run in June 2007 to fundraise for JA, and much to his surprise, within a few short weeks of emailing friends, he had raised over $40,000. And honestly, he's not stopped running towards a pain-free future for families and kids affected with arthritis since. In addition to his dedication to Cassie and Friends, David owns and runs a real estate development company in Vancouver, BC. Thank you for being here, David. So our next judge is Dr. Elizabeth Stringer, who will also be speaking on behalf of the medical community today. She is an associate professor of pediatrics at Dalhousie University and a pediatric rheumatologist at IWK Health Center. Dr. Stringer's research and clinical passions include studying and caring for children and youth with JIA, transition of youth from pediatric to adult healthcare, and pediatric Lyme arthritis. Elizabeth also serves as the chair of CAPRI, the Canadian Alliance of Pediatric Rheumatology Investigators, and is a medical advisor for Take a Pain Check. She lives in Halifax with her partner, 11-year-old son, a dog, and 2 cats. Our last judge requires no introduction, as everyone knows who Jennifer Wilson is. Cassie and Friends Executive Director. She joined Cassie and Friends as the first employee in 2013, and like many, she had never heard of arthritis in children, but has since immersed herself in transforming the organization and has dedicated herself, that's an understatement, to pursuing Cassie and Friends' vision of a pain-free future for kids. Jennifer has 2 trailblazing daughters, Bella and Poppy, who are equally as passionate about helping kids with arthritis. So thank you, silent applause. Thank you to all our impressive judges for joining us today and taking on the impossible task of selecting just one of our ambassadors to be the Cassie and Friends Youth Ambassador of the Year, a task I do not envy. Speaking of our amazing ambassadors, they are all here and ready to share with you the creative and inspiring projects they've been working on for over the past 9 months. So we have Alejandra Van Dusen, Chelsea Wolf, Kira Mahaffey, Maurice Hendy, Matthew Scholdies, and Sophie Finn. Now, I'll be sharing more in-depth details about each of them later on, but you're actually going to get the chance to know them before then in our Mix and Mingle breakout rooms, which we are going to open momentarily. So this will be an opportunity for us all to engage and connect with each other before we get started on presentations. So I really encourage all of you to keep your cameras on and mics and join in on the discussions. So as we're getting ready for that start, I just want to thank you again for helping us celebrate this amazing cohort. So we're going to get those rooms started. Any second, a box should pop up on your screen inviting you to join a room. We'll keep eye on the time for you to join, for the time. So your only job is to join and enjoy the conversation. They should be popping up right now, and then you just join them. We're just waiting for everyone else to come back out of the breakout rooms. They should be out any minute, or well, like within the minute, actually. Kudos to Brittany for being a tech wizard. Just gonna wait till everyone's back, and then we will we'll continue. Okay, so I see, yep, everyone's slowly popping back in. It's fun to watch the participant number continue to rise. Okay, welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the conversations in the room. I popped in midway through and it was great. Yeah, I just think it's such a wonderful thing when, you know, everyone from different places across the country and walks of life and experiences come together and, you know, just touch base and connect, because connection is one of the most beautiful things that humans can do. So thank you to our ambassadors for hosting them and starting this event off right. Now, I actually have the pleasure of introducing one of the hardest working people you'll ever meet to say a few words, Jennifer Wilson.
Thanks, Deanie. Yes, my name is Jennifer Wilson. I'm the Executive Director of Cassie and Friends, and I just want to thank everyone so much for being here today, both our future leaders. I see some future leaders on camera, and I see one future leader. So it's just so wonderful to see our community coming together. And I don't want to take too much time because I'm so excited after our intros to see the presentation. So I just really wanted to say a few words about this program, why we launched Future Leaders, and how it fits into Cassie and Friends' mission and vision for the juvenile arthritis and other rheumatic disease community. And I'm just going to say JA from here to make it easy on myself, but I do really want to recognize the many autoimmune and autoinflammatory conditions that make up on our community under this umbrella of pediatric rheumatic diseases. So our mission at Cassie and Friends is to transform the lives of kids and families affected by JA through research, education, connection, and support. And our vision, which you'll hear us say a lot because we believe in it so much, is a pain-free future for kids. And the word kid, which for us ranges right into young adulthood and potentially further for all our leaders, board members in healthcare who are kids at heart, is really important. It's in both our mission and our vision because that's what makes Cassie and Friends unique. We are 100% focused on youth. And then there's another word, the word transform in our mission, which is also really important because our goal is not just to provide some programs sometimes or some help to kids and families, but it's to radically change what juvenile arthritis means in terms of impact and outlook. So over the last few years, we have really grown into ourselves as an organization. We have expanded nationally, as you'll see today from the youth presenting. We're connecting right across the country. We have 11 run walks across the country through our virtual education program, which is really the most incredible comprehensive online education library for rheumatic diseases, childhood rheumatic diseases. People can connect to Cassie and Friends no matter where they are and access our support and our network. So that expansion was a really important step to be a national organization and to really step up to say, we care about the juvenile arthritis community all of the time, and that we are going to start working together to make some of the changes we want to see. The second step was really to become crystal clear on what those changes are, what we do best, and where we're headed. And that's how we got to have the Future Leader Program that we're talking about today and experiencing today. As the only charity in Canada focused on juvenile arthritis, we can be asked to wear many hats. But as we've been working coast to coast, connecting with kids, families, healthcare teams, we've seen there's really three main areas where we can have the biggest impact to drive some real change over the next 5 to 10 years. And I'm just going to briefly mention what those areas are. You'll be hearing lots about them from Cassie and Friends. So the first is Cassie Cares. We can't focus on helping youth to become strong and resilient with rheumatic disease without first making sure that we are supporting strong and resilient families. So our goal for Cassie Cares is really that every single family diagnosed with rheumatic disease in Canada gets the opportunity to know about Cassie and Friends at diagnosis so that we can provide them with support, resources, information, connections, etc., that we know transforms a family's life with rheumatic disease. And our number one partner in Cassie Cares are the amazing pediatric rheumatology teams and care providers across Canada who we work with every day. And I just want to thank sincerely the members of the healthcare community who are here today. So the second area that we're focused on is with the launch of our Cassie and Friends Care and Research Network, what we call our CREW. Is really with CREW, what we've done is we've formed the first research and advocacy body in Canada for the juvenile arthritis community that is driven by youth and families. You may or may not know that Canada is a world leader in pediatric rheumatic disease research, but as a community, we still think we can do much better when it comes to being unified and coordinated in our efforts to transform kid lives and to make sure we're focusing on what really matters to youth and families. So if Cassie Cares is meant to reduce the day-to-day burdens of juvenile arthritis and to kind of walk with families every day, then CREW is really how we're going to move the needle on our bigger vision of how we see the world could be better when it comes to childhood rheumatic diseases. And a great example of this is the research partnership that we just launched with Brain Canada. We know from kids, families, and healthcare that mental health in pediatric rheumatic diseases is a huge area. In fact, Elizabeth Stringer, who you'll be hearing from later today, has done some very important research in this area. So without CREW and the kids and families and Cassie and Friends coming together on this topic, we wouldn't have what we have today, which is $500,000 now dedicated to finding answers and improving outcomes in this area. And so finally, that brings us to Future Leaders and the youth you're going to hear from today. So Future Leaders is a critical part of our plan. And in fact, our plan would not work without Future Leaders. Through Future Leaders, our goal is to first help youth in their individual lives. We're going to help them gain skills. We're going to create meaningful opportunities to get involved. Professional and personal development. We want youth to be able to form supportive peer networks and become strong advocates for themselves in their rheumatic disease. And then the second is we want to empower youth to become strong future adult leaders and advocates for our community. How do we take our big healthcare and society changing ideals and put them into action? Future leaders. It's the input, experiences, and ideas of youth like the ones we're about to hear from today that'll ultimately make Cassie and Friends successful and help us achieve our vision for helping kids be pain-free. So with that, I would just like to thank the people who won't thank themselves, which is Brittany and Deanie, for making today happen and really putting their heart and soul into this program from vision to execution. And I would like to now pass it back to start our presentations and just sincerely congratulate all of the future leaders. And thank you for being part of our first cohort.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. Yeah, that was beautiful. I couldn't have said any of it better myself. And yeah, thank you for doing all the work you do for Cassie and Friends. And now, without further ado, I'm so excited to get our presentation started. So, as our ambassadors are presenting, please feel free to show them support by using emojis or commenting in the chat box. A reminder that we are going to keep our mics muted unless we are speaking so that there is no background noise when the ambassadors are presenting. Ambassadors, when it's your turn, you'll be able to share your screen and begin. Just a reminder, you have 5 minutes to present, followed by 5 minutes for the judges to ask questions and provide feedback. I'll be keeping time and we'll ring this little bell. Well, it's not really a bell, but make this sound when you have 1 minute remaining, and then once again when your time is up. So there's been a little change in our order, and we are going to start our presentations now with Kira Mahaffey. So Kira lives in Vancouver, BC, and is currently studying in Toronto at the University of Toronto, where she is completing 2 majors, one in English literature and one in dramatic literature. Kira is deeply ingrained in her campus community. She is a co-president of the Trinity College Dramatic Society, a choreographer for a U of T dance club, and a member of intramural ultimate Frisbee team. In addition, she started a new club at the U of T directly connected to her project. When assessing her university community at large, she noticed a lack of empathy for those with rheumatic diseases and other chronic illnesses and/or disabilities. Kira's project aims to make the campus more inclusive and supportive by establishing the student club called the U of T Rheumatic Disease Awareness and Action Organization. All right, Kira, on to you.
Amazing, thank you. I will share my screen now. Okay, wonderful. So I'm going to need to move quickly, but anyways, hi everyone. My name is Kira, and I will be talking about my club, the University of Toronto Rheumatic Disease Awareness and Action Organization. So throughout high school, I was a competitive rock climber and rower, winning many awards and growing my skills. Unfortunately, I developed JIA, so I had to stop competitive rowing for the time being, and then I threw myself into acting, which I love dearly. So fast forward to last year, I started university at the University of Toronto in Trinity College. I started getting involved with various clubs such as theater and dance, and meeting a lot of really engaging and kind people. Despite their overall care, however, I noticed that many people would still do things like laugh at me when I dropped my food in the dining hall and question why I was joining the ultimate Frisbee team when I had weak hands. They felt I was letting them down. So for this reason that I started the University of Toronto Rheumatic Disease Awareness and Action Organization, U of T Rheumatic Disease for short. U of T Rheumatic Disease has 3 parts to it: increasing the University of Toronto community's understanding of rheumatic diseases through education and awareness, connecting those people in the University of Toronto community who have a rheumatic disease, as well as connecting those who are interested in the field of rheumatology, and collaborating with University of Toronto rheumatology researchers to spread their findings within the wider University of Toronto community. And so the first thing I did was collaborate with the Trinity College Dramatic Society, AKA myself. I was the president this year, so with permission from the rest of the executive, I made Cassie and Friends the TCDS Charity of the Year. As president, I produce a number of plays musicals each year, and here are 3 of them. At every single Trinity College Rheumatic Society show, I ran a juvenile arthritis education and concession stand. I used my meal plan money to buy a lot of snacks and drinks from the dining hall and some throw-ins from Tim Hortons and other exciting places, which I then resold on a donate what you can basis during intermission. I raised $1,209 through this initiative alone. The concession stand was also an education booth where people learned about juvenile arthritis from a juvenile arthritis expert, me. I also pitched to the Trinity College meeting finance committee that we have 15% of all TCDS revenue go to Cassie and Friends. After a thorough pitch and interrogation session by the future CRA tax collectors, AKA the Trinity College meeting students finance committee, they approved it. Not only was this initiative very helpful in raising money for Cassie and Friends, but also in our advocacy work for juvenile arthritis at Trinity College, because we advertised that 15% of every ticket was going to Cassie and Friends and talked about what the organization does and what juvenile arthritis is. When it is mandatory that a portion of your money goes toward a charity, you are going to be interested in what that charity is. So a lot of people started researching Cassie and Friends and juvenile arthritis on their own, prompted by this fact. And we raised $1,732 for Cassie and Friends through this initiative. So in total, we raised $2,941 for Cassie and Friends this year. For our final Trinity College Rheumatic Society show this year, Connections by U of T medical student Shreya Jha, pictured down here. We did a special collaboration. For a matinee show, we invited families affected by juvenile arthritis to come and see our matinee show for free. And I made goodie bags for the kids. And here's some kids that came. And Tony, I believe you're here. We also created a commercial which advertises the upcoming Cassie and Friends community and awareness run. We had 9 Trinity College students participate in the commercial, not all of them pictured. I'm not quite finished editing, but I will be soon. And to officially launch the club in the wider U of T community, I made a video entitled, "What is a Rheumatic Disease?" I walked around campus asking a number of U of T students the simple question, what is a rheumatic disease? So we're gonna watch a quick clip of it now just to get an idea, but it's on YouTube so you can watch it yourself later. What is a rheumatic disease?
Rheumatic disease?
Can you hear it?
Rheumatic disease. Rheumatic disease? Yeah.
A rheumatic disease.
I have no idea. Not sure. I don't know.
What is a rheumatic disease?
A what? What? Wait, what is
A rheumatic disease.
What is? I don't even know what that is. A disease? A rheumatic disease? What does that mean? I've never heard that word in my entire life.
A rheumatic. Okay, awesome. So we'll just need to keep moving on, but you can watch it on YouTube. It's kind of funny because the first step in advocacy is demonstrating why that advocacy is important. So the very fact that people don't know, we need to help them understand. I also had a care package initiative, which I sadly was unable to see funding for, but I will keep trying. And also, here's our executive team. You may recognize, I'm almost done, by the way. You may recognize our vice president, July who is actually the first person in the beginning of the What is a Rheumatic Disease video. She was so interested in it, from what I told her, that she really wanted to get involved. So she made also the logo that you saw at the very beginning. And then Shreya Jha, the writer of Connections show, she's also kind of our medical student advisor. And fun fact, my rheumatologist is her course coordinator. And a few other cool things from this is, like Sydney, for example, she got so interested in it that she's now applying to volunteer at Sick Kids Rheumatology. So these are just some cool little micro kind of progressions that I think will have big impacts in the future too. So thank you all for listening. This club is to be continued, and I really enjoyed doing it so far. So if any of you have any questions about it, please ask.
Thank you, Kira. Amazing. So I'm just gonna make space now for the judges if they have any comments, questions, feedback. Do so now.
I do. Thank you, Kara. That was amazing. And the video is just exceptional. Like, what a great idea to engage other students on campus. I wondered what your plans were to, like, are you going to continue with the connection with the Theater Society moving forward, or will you look for other partners on campus?
Yeah, that's because our connection so far has been super important, and I will be myself continuously involved in it, so I can definitely see that maintaining. However, the idea of the TCDS Charity of the Year, that was kind of, I started, and I want it to be an initiative where each executive like votes on it and decides each year. So it could be another charity, but there'll still be collaborations. But yeah, in the future, I kind of want to grow past Trinity College and focus more on the wider U of T community too.
Well, thank you.
I just, oh,
go ahead, Alyssa.
thanks. That was really wonderful. And I think your video just does highlight the lack of knowledge about rheumatic diseases in the public in general. Have you considered with your the theater piece of it, potentially even showing this to medical students or people who are learning about rheumatic diseases? I think that the medium of theater is sort of a very interesting way of translating knowledge, which I think you've sort of capitalized on, and I think that's a really cool idea.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely continuing. What's really cool is that our medical student person on our executive, she is a professional musical writer and attending medical school. And so she kind of has that connection, and I've worked very closely with her, and I'm also very interested in theater in this. So I definitely see us continuing with that and finding ways to kind of cross that medium. And so that's kind of a thank you for, suggesting we continue on that path.
I've got a question about your just on the membership. Like, you've had a lot of, it sounds like a lot of people join and really participate with you that don't have rheumatic diseases, which is pretty fantastic to get that extra help. Are you finding are there those with rheumatic diseases coming forward as well to work with you guys?
There has been one girl who had fibromyalgia, which is like a rheumatic disease adjacent thing, who was connected with it. I was really hoping through the care package initiative that that's how we were going to reach people, because we would connect with them by them signing up for the care package, because it's hard. Like we're still doing our advertising thing, so it's hard to find people and get them to I don't want to say like reveal themselves, but in a sense, like that is a case, it's like a step you have to take to connect with that. So that is something we are still continuing on, is that the second piece of the connection. We did a lot of like connection for people interested in becoming rheumatologists, but we need to continue on the connection between people who actually had it. So yeah, we were more successful in awareness and understanding and connection between like people interested in rheumatology this year.
Good, thank you.
Hi, Kara. That was a great presentation. The video is great. I'm looking forward to watching the rest of it. I'm sure there's some really funny parts there as you get into it, what people might think it is. Question around, and maybe it's not for an answer for right now, but just interested in your thoughts on the longevity of your club. Like, eventually you'll graduate, and sort of I see you're building a team behind you, which is really cool, and how your thoughts are towards the continuation of it, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 12 years from now.
Yeah, no, that is a very good point, and something that I'm starting to think about, because I'm in second year now, so I still have a bit of time, but one of the people on the executive, Caitlin, she is a year younger, and that will kind of be my goal as I continue on, is to be bringing on executive members in kind of influential positions who are younger. So there is already a platform of people to continue it, but and I will still hope to be involved after graduation by providing support and et cetera, because I don't want this to be something that dies once I graduate. So,
cool.
I'm going to do my best in that respect.
Yeah. It's a process, but I'm glad to hear that you're already at the very beginning, you're thinking about that part, which is really important. So thank you for that.
Amazing. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up the question period. Kira, thank you for your presentation. Amazing. Judges, thank you as well for your feedback. And we are now going to go on to our next presenter. So our next presenter is Alejandra Van Dusen. So Alejandra lives in Regina, where she attends the University of Regina and is working on towards her Bachelor of Health Studies degree. So she was inspired by her life experiences in the health system to pursue a career which could positively shape health systems and policies. She's also currently working part-time as a program administrator in the public sector and is involved in both Take a Pain Check and a student-led community health center. Her project focuses on the creation of a multimedia library that shares various resources and stories of lived experiences from those who have navigated young adulthood with a rheumatic disease. So take it away, Alejandra.
Thank you for your introduction. I will now share my screen. All right, I am very excited to share my Youth Ambassador project with you all. It is called Tales from Transition. To set the scene, I will begin describing my life when I first became involved with Cassie and friends. I was 18 years old, which is an age of many transitions, both health-related and not. I was starting university, my first desk job, navigating social relationships, and various other experiences, all while making the transition from pediatric to adult care. At this time, I was seeking support and connection, which led me to Cassie and friends. I stumbled upon the PACER program, which is a year-long program where a team of young adults and I conducted qualitative research on the transition to adult care. Participating in this project taught me many lessons, both related to the data and the research experience itself. From the data, we identified a key theme that young people transitioning to adult care desire more resources and social support. And from the experience of being involved in my community, I learned that we hold many diverse stories with valuable lessons to be shared. Which brings me to my project goal: to create and collect a diverse multimedia patient-driven resources for transition and young adulthood related topics for the Cassie and Friends Transitions webpage. Because these resources are created by and for patients, my project aligns well with the PACER findings, as not only does it contribute to the current transition resources, but it also confers a sense of social support due to the storytelling format it follows. Bringing together diverse voices will allow for members of our community to connect with, support, and learn from each other.
Alejandra, but I don't think we can see your slides. I wonder if you just want to try resharing and then maybe restart because we didn't get to see them. So sorry.
Okay, sure. I'm not sure why it's paused.
There we go.
Okay. Thank you for letting me know. That would suck if I did like the whole presentation without a slideshow.
I'll let you know as soon as it comes up here too.
Okay.
Still says loading.
I can see the slides.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
Okay, it still says loading on my end. Can folks pop in the chat if they're able to see screen her slides or not?
No, it still says loading here as well.
Me too. There we go.
If you keep it like that, we can see it for sure.
Okay. Is it okay if I keep it like this?
Yeah, Zoom is still, even after all these years of using Zoom, likes to throw challenges our way. So we understand.
All right, thank you guys. Anyways, so under the guidance of the Cassie and Friends Youth Ambassador Project, I began my project plan and charter in December. Being provided with information about project management as well as feedback allowed me to plan for success. And my first step was to conduct a literature review and an environmental scan to assess what resources are currently offered for young adults with rheumatic diseases. While there are plenty of burgeoning resources for this demographic, I did find gaps surrounding occupational health, relationships, mental health, travel, and personal wellness. Moreover, existing resources are not centralized and can be difficult to find. This search confirmed my goal to create short and specific young adult resources for the Cassie and Friends website. Once I had identified my key areas, I began reaching out to personal connections to collect content, which included short videos or blogs that provided advice on these young adult topics. Once I received these videos, they were posted on the Cassie and Friends Transition website. Because our community has come together, I currently have collected 7 videos and 2 blogs that cover salient topics such as work, adult appointments, medication adherence, travel, moving provinces, personal wellness, university, and mental health. So far, 5 of these stories are available on the Cassie and Friends social media channels and have received 687 views. The content was also used as promotional material for the Cassie and Friends Transition webinar. Now, to reflect on some roadblocks, when I did the project charter, I actually scheduled several of my deliverables in the month of April, which also happens to be the month that final exams take place in. So I think a lesson that I learned from this is during project planning, it would be wise to consider the external events that would happen during the key deliverable times. So my next steps are to continue to collect more patient-driven resources, emphasizing work, mental health, and relationships, to create supplementary evidence-based infographics that provide information on the content discussed in the videos, and to continue to advertise the created resources in order to direct young people towards them. And what really excites me about these next steps is I will not be taking them alone. During this project, the Cassie and Friends Youth Transitions Working Group was launched, which will work towards these next steps. Moreover, I'm really intrigued to see the next cohorts of youth leaders, and if they share the same passion for transition that I do, I would love to see some touch points between their projects and mine. Am I okay for time?
You have about 30 more seconds if you can do it in that.
I think so, thanks. So as the project evolves, I will measure its impact through 2 primary metrics. My first metric addresses the project's impact on the audience, which will be measured through social media viewership and engagement. And my second metric addresses the project's impact on the content creators. Storytelling is mutually beneficial, and to measure the positive impact on young people who have shared their story, I will qualitatively survey them. That is all I have for my presentation. Thank you guys so much for listening, and thank you to Cassie and Friends for their support during this project.
Thank you, Alejandra, and thank you for dealing with that tech issue so gracefully. I know it's always can be very panic-inducing when in the middle of it something happens, but you handled it like a champ, and your presentation was fantastic. I'm going to open it now to the judges if there's any feedback or questions.
Alejandra, one question for me. Great presentation, thank you. Really interesting and well researched. I like that part of it a lot. Interested in your thoughts on you've had great response already with the 700 views, and how your thoughts on how you could expand viewership of not the content but the reach.
Thank you for your question. I think so far, a lot of the viewership, interestingly, I'll just comment on this, comes from the Instagram Reels. And not so much the website. So I think it would be really cool to direct more people towards the website. So something I've considered actually is, because the Cassie and Friends has such a great transition webpage, I think it would be cool to make a QR code to that website to give to patients as they are during that transition age in clinic, because I think it would be great to direct people from their clinic to resources.
Well, thank you.
That was a great answer to what would have been my exact question as well. That was the question. I was wondering how we could get a broader reach out of this fantastic program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alejandra, yeah, that was a lovely presentation. Along the same lines, I'm wondering about the individuals that you include that share their stories. It sounds like you've reached out to them, like, because there are some personal connections. Have you thought about incorporating like a equity, diversity, and inclusion kind of lens to your project so that you can sort of have a very broad representation of individuals going through transition, such that it would be relevant for the broadest audience?
Absolutely. I really like that question, because that is actually something that I have in my larger scheme of goals. I really would like to touch on some topics that are specific to rural communities, and additionally, patients who might access First Nations and Inuit health benefits and how that might play a role in their care. So I'm definitely trying to figure out a way to garner those stories moving forward.
Amazing. I'm going to wrap up question time now. Thank you so much, judges, for the feedback and questions. And Alejandra, again, you handled that like a champ. Beautiful presentation. Thank you so much. Next, I'm going to introduce Chelsea Wolf. So Chelsea currently lives in Edmonton, where she works as a paramedic. And Chelsea noticed there was a lack of kid-friendly information and resources that could help people understand their diagnosis and what's happening to their bodies. So to fill this gap, Chelsea's project aims to equip parents and kids with a children's book that explains the JA journey in an age and appropriate way. On to you, Chelsea. You can share your slides now, or yeah, start presenting.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I am on Apple, so I'm going to just be, there we go. Let me try to see if I can do this. This is the first time I've done this. Okay, can you see my screen okay?
Yep, I can see it.
If I did this, is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. So thank you so much for that introduction, Deanie. I'm probably going to go over my time. I just have way too much information and I'm way too excited about this. I've decided to jazz up the Cassie and Friends logo a bit and Chelsify it. So I've changed it to purple. But who am I? My name is Chelsea. This was me last year at the Cassie and Friends run. I was diagnosed with juvenile idiopathic arthritis when I was 2 years old. I am born and raised in Calgary, Alberta, so go Flames go. I started my career in Fort McMurray, and it was there that I decided I not only wanted to continue pursuing paramedicine, but to get a taste of firefighting as well, which one day would be amazing to add to my career belt. I love to sing, I love traveling, that's me on the Brooklyn Bridge. I've been skiing my whole life, and when I'm not doing these things, I'm harassing my dog, Charlie. The project idea and where it kind of stemmed from. So it all started with a conversation I had with my dad. When the ambassador program was starting and looking for projects, he and I were brainstorming. And my dad stated that he and my mom had a difficult time not only understanding what specialists were telling them, but also how to repeat that information to me in a manner that I would understand. I felt that there could potentially be room in the market for a book that was not only age appropriate, but medically accurate. The reason that this is different and that I feel that there's a need for it is there's availability in books, but they're not always medically accurate. And I'd like to have it accurate and also in a story format. So following a child's diagnosis onwards to really draw attention into the child. I'd like to have in-depth descriptions of photographs for kids and understand what's happening from an anatomical perspective, but also pharmacological. So Another difference would be most outcomes with a chronic illness are person dependent. So no two stories are the same. It's important for me to display scenarios and alter that idea that remission is the final goal. I'd like to do this by introducing the idea through characters who live happy lives while continuing to depend on medications, medical aids, and other therapies. The reason this is important is because it will set a child up with the idea that even though you may forever need extra help, you can still live extraordinary lives, the same as those who have outgrown the disease. I'm very passionate about it, mostly because it stems from a lot of the lack of knowledge that there is, which can lead to confusion, fear, lack of control, anxiety, lack of compliance with medications, depressions in children. This can be incredibly dangerous, as we all know. And I think that as a 24-year-old, if I don't know what a drug does, how could a 7-year-old? And with rheumatic diseases, they are so much more complex than just achy joints. And is there a way to explain this to a child in a way that they're able to understand it, to try to cope and avoid some of these fears, especially when it comes to medicine and the medical community? I believe that knowledge is power. So accessing this information at home is key. A lot of the times what happens is parents will get told this information, and to no fault of their own, sometimes they may not understand it, or things could be missed out when they're translating it to their child. So this way they will be more educated. They'll have the opportunity to educate family and friends, less biases and stigmas around chronic illnesses. It'll help open conversations in the home, which will be a lot healthier. And again, lessen that fear around the anxiety. Some of the progression and roadblocks that I've been facing, to date, I've completed and circulated some surveys within the rheumatic community, asking patients and parents about their own knowledge about the disease and experiences. Here, it was a response out of 21. I would love to open that up more, but for the starters, when your child was diagnosed, how familiar? So the response was 2 out of 10. For understanding it after the child was diagnosed, the response was 6 out of 10. So again, quite a gap that there could be filled with more knowledge. Where have you gained the majority of your information was through healthcare providers, but also the internet and group forums. With the internet reaching 70% as well, I felt that that could be a challenge because a lot of times Dr. Google is not the answer or could give unrealistic answers, and same with biases from other people. The other one was, where have you learned or gained information from? And that was from brochures being passed out by the medical community, which again, I found really interesting and great, but I think there could be a little bit of improvement. Some more things that have happened for me. Luckily, my best friend is a sociologist and disabilities advocate. So I've had lots of opportunities to talk with her about gaining understanding about inclusivity, and also coming from a writer who would be able-bodied. I've gained a significant amount of knowledge on ethics and accessibility and inclusivity. And going back to how I talked about before, I'd really like to pull that into this book to include all. I would really hope to access her knowledge as well in English literature, because she also has a degree in that when it comes to editing and that sort of thing. Some of the questions that I have wanted to answer my whole life, I have already started the research in. So why does my needle sting so bad? Why do I need to wear sunscreen when I'm taking these medications? Why do I need to get my eyes checked when this affects my joints? Why does a warm bath feel better? Even what happens if I never go into remission? So these are some of the things I'm brainstorming that I would love to implement. Now, I'd like to preface this next part. I have been trying my best to create a timeline that's accessible, but unfortunately, there's a lot of different paths and things to go down. But one of the things that I've really been toying with through this experience is, of course, the illustration portion of it. My dad and I have been practicing. He wanted to preface and say he did not draw these. I did, really briefly. He in another life would be an artist, but he's a mechanical engineer and an entrepreneur himself. So we've been playing with Adobe and really working with the illustrations in that sense. But that is another thing we'd love to keep working on. I'll briefly go over the timeline, but basically this is kind of an idea of what I would like to have. Again, I would say because of the editing and portions of research that need to get done, this project ideally probably would need another 1.5 to 2 years. As for budgeting and things like that, my family has a personal budget of $5,000 that we would be willing to invest into this should no investors be available. But this again is a very broad spectrum of ideas. And then again, expertise for the medical professions and support for editors and marketing as well when the time is done. This really quickly, I just want to say the success and impact. This project is very subjective. Therefore, when measuring success, in my opinion, positive reviews would be what deems successful to me. I have a non-profitable goal, but more have this book be widely available for families, if not in paper form, then through a PDF format where a QR code would be accessible in medical rooms for families to have when they're diagnosed. Again, just bringing back to being relatable, having the opportunity to have these conversations, including and representation in the community, as well as in mental health, as it can increase cognitive development and really help a child succeed. That is it. I'm sorry I spoke so fast. If you'd like to reach out to me at all, there's my information. Otherwise, go through any one of the lovely Cassie and friends for more information.
Thank you so much, Chelsea. Beautiful.
Okay.
I love that you put the purple spin on it. For time, we are going to have 2 minutes for questions and feedback from the judges. So judges, if you have any questions or feedback, please share now.
Chelsea, one question would be, have you kind of, I guess, thought about the specific age group that you're hoping to target with this book? And would you think about getting some actual, I guess, input from those children in terms of what they would like to learn about in this book?
I would love to get input from those age groups. It was kind of a challenge to really decipher what age. I think anywhere from probably 5 to 10 would be a probably good age range to start. And just having the most simplified medical jargon that I could, just broken down for them. So if families with 2 or 3 year olds, they'll have a better ability to break it down to them. But yes, I would love to get input from kids and what they would want as well. And that is a goal that I want to incorporate.
I'll jump in. I loved your presentation. Thought it was really amazing. I loved that you worked with your family as part of your research process. I think that exhibits a lot of the values and how Cassie and Friends worked as well, and your survey as well. I wondered, do you envision your final product to be a hard copy book or an online PDF format or a mixture of both? And what are some of the ways that you think that you could let families know about your book?
Thank you. I wanted to do a mixture of both. I personally love paperback and would love to have that, but I also wanted it to just be so available. So that's where the PDF idea really came in. As for spreading it out and the awareness of it, I would probably need the help from Cassie and Friends and others. I don't know how I would really implement and getting into different clinics and hospitals and things like that and able to distribute. But that would be a goal of mine, is to really get in there and then just have it available in the offices, in like the little waiting areas for them so that it's available. But I'm not too sure of how to do that yet. No.
Amazing. So I'm going to wrap up questions and feedback now. Thank you, judges. Chelsea, amazing. Thank you so much. Great presentation. We're going to take a break now from presentations, actually, and invite a great friend of Cassie and Friends, pediatric rheumatologist, Dr. Elizabeth Stringer, to speak now.
Unmute myself. Just 1 second. Everyone can hear me? Good. It's been super fun listening to the first 3 presentations. Just very, very inspiring. Sorry, I should pull up my dog out. So I've been working as a pediatric rheumatologist in Halifax, Nova Scotia for almost 15 years, and have seen the incredible growth and impact of Cassie and Friends over this time. And so when I reflect on my experience of working with Cassie and Friends, I really think about the whole team that I work with. So that includes the other rheumatologists, the nurses, the allied health professionals, including our physio, OT, and social worker. And I really have to say that Cassie and Friends has become so woven into the fabric of the care that we provide to patients and families that I don't think a day goes by that Cassie and Friends isn't mentioned by a member of our team in some capacity, whether it be at a new diagnosis, a pivotal point in a patient's care, like a medication change, whether there's a new webinar available, or even talking about an initiative like this. There's literally always something at Cassie and Friends, whether it's education, advocacy, or support for families that is important in the day-to-day care of families with rheumatic diseases. One program that really stands out is the Cassie and Friends Family Equipment Cupboard. So our social worker led this, and we now have a cupboard in our clinic where we have numbing creams and stretch bands and tegaderm dressings. And we recently purchased a whole lot of shorts for our patients so that they can have something to wear during their physical exams and physiotherapy. And these are all items that some families may otherwise go without. And I literally gave a few tubes of numbing cream to a patient just a couple of days ago. But Cassie and Friends impact certainly doesn't stop there. Cassie and Friends has been amazing at collaborating with healthcare professionals such as myself, and they've really bridged the gap between the medical community and families affected by childhood rheumatic diseases. And I think Jennifer has talked about the goals of Cassie and Friends, and I really think in every way Cassie and Friends meets the mark and really provides almost like another family to these families and children. And they really, I think, key is that they empower families to take an active role in their child's care, which I feel has undoubtedly led to improved health outcomes and overall quality of life for entire families. And even I can see it in the individuals that I'm hearing from today. And so programs like the one we're celebrating today are essential for youth affected by childhood rheumatic diseases. I think that comes out very strongly in all of the presentations. They provide a sense of community and belonging, which can be invaluable for those who feel isolated or alone in their struggles. It also provides an amazing insight for me into the people that I've cared for over the years with rheumatic disease. It's an incredible opportunity for youth to think about and refine their own ideas for giving back to the community, while clearly learning very valuable skills and knowledge that will support them far beyond the program itself. And as I reflect on the projects I've heard about so far today, I'm reminded of the importance of community and collaboration in achieving our goals. And I am truly so inspired by our future leaders who are working alongside us to leave a lasting impact that will benefit the next generation of youth and families learning to navigate life with rheumatic disease. And I look forward to the rest of the presentations and think that all of these projects are going to be amazing and will really lead to a really important impact for our community. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Stringer. Thank you so much. And we know firsthand the power of patient organizations working hand in hand with healthcare and the impact it has on families and community. And thank you so much again for just being such a collaborator and great friend with Cassie and Friends and being here today. Okay, so it's time now for our final three presentations. So let's start off. Let's begin again. I'm excited to welcome to the screen Maurice Hendy. So Maurice lives in Calgary, where she's currently attending University of Calgary, majoring in sociology and minoring in health and society. She's also the president of the Invisible Disabilities Education and Advocacy Association at the University of Calgary. So Maurice's project aims to create a digital hub on the Cassie and Friends website where friends and family can easily find and access reliable pediatric lupus information. All right, Maurice, when you're ready, share your screen and begin. Beautiful. I think you might be muted though. I can't hear you.
Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, so Hello, everyone. As mentioned, my name is Maurice Hendy. A little bit about me before we start. I am originally from Egypt, and I moved here in 2007 with my family. I'm, as mentioned, a sociology major, and my long-term vision for myself, I'd like to become a social worker, preferably in like a medical setting, because of, my experiences. And yeah, so let's start. So today I'll be presenting my youth ambassador project called the Pediatric Lupus Foundation. Before we begin, I'd like to define the purpose of this project. Information and resources specifically designed for children with lupus are scarce. Much of the information currently available on lupus is directed at adults and is not age appropriate or relevant to young people. Take, for instance, this binder that I was given when first diagnosed with lupus. It is a juvenile arthritis binder that has one insert on lupus placed inside it. So based on my own experiences, I wanted to immediately create more information and resources for kids and families experiencing lupus. But I had been diagnosed 11 years ago, so I wanted to know if the experience of accessing pediatric lupus information had changed in that time. So I decided to run 2 surveys on the experiences of accessing age-appropriate information on pediatric lupus patients and their families and guardians. In these surveys, I also asked what types of information and resources they would like to see created in the future. So here are some of the results of my survey. 80% of pediatric lupus patients surveyed did not feel that they had access to information about lupus that was age appropriate. And in my survey, age appropriate was defined as easy to understand and relevant for their age. Half of pediatric lupus patients surveyed felt that they did not get an adequate age-appropriate explanation of lupus upon their diagnosis. Some common themes in the written answers were a sense of unpredictability about the future, the phrase, "everything was explained to my parents and no one talked to me," the sense of longing for support and community, and a general sense of confusion. So what is the solution to this? Now that is where my project comes in. My project wants to create a virtual hub where we can compile reliable pediatric lupus information for ease of access for everyone. What kind of resources have we already started working on? Firstly, these 2 amazing volunteers on the screen are writing blogs on their lived experiences growing up with lupus to let kids and youth know that they are not alone. Secondly, we've started creating symptom and medication tracking journals to make this process of remembering to take medication and communicating with your doctor on your symptoms a little easier. And here are some of the drafts on the screen. And last but certainly not least, we're creating a lupus kids book, simplifying commonly heard lupus medical terms and with simple explanations and drawings. The sketches seen here have been provided by a wonderful volunteer named Michelle Chung. So what are our future plans for this project? We would like to create informative videos, as videos were highly requested on the patient surveys. We would like to branch out and begin offering lupus support groups and mentorship on 3 different levels: peer-to-peer, parent-to-parent, and family-to-family. It's incredibly important to foster this environment of connection to let people know that they're not alone. And we would like to fundraise for pediatric lupus research, educational materials such as printing the information and resources and getting them in rheumatology clinics, and supporting patients' lives by funding things such as medications. And what do I need in order for this project to continue on? I need volunteers. So if you would like to volunteer, please email this email on the screen. The reason I named this project the Pediatric Lupus Foundation is because my long-term vision for this project is to create a multi-project foundation as a sort of sister foundation to Cassie and Friends. and I want to make fundamental changes in the lives of those with pediatric lupus in ways that I didn't get to experience as a child. So start small today and volunteer and make a change this Lupus Awareness Month. Thank you for your time.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Marie's beautiful, beautiful presentation. I'm going to open it now to the judges for feedback and questions.
A really great presentation. Thank you for that. Just wanted to get clarity on maybe just one or two things. At the end, you were asking about the volunteer part, but I think the project is the project that is about sort of creating that hub of research, hub of tools for parents and kids.
Yes, that is what it is. But you know, I'm asking for volunteers because it's a very time intensive and like there's a lot of work to do kind of project. Yeah. So I need like all hands on deck kind of, yeah. Sort of many hands make light work.
And what would, just to follow that up, just one follow-up question, what would you, thank you, what would you want, like what would you be looking for the volunteers to do to help support you with this?
I would like for volunteers to help collect existing information and to organize like existing information that's online and on different lupus organizations websites and stuff, and to organize it in different categories, and to sort of, this would also, I would need medical volunteers to help vet different information. So this would be, I can't do it all myself, but I have started. I've started and it's taken me a very long time because the internet is very wide and vast. So yeah. Thank you for your question.
Very much. It was a great presentation.
Thank you.
Hey, Maurice, I echo that. Fantastic. This is a huge project. It's a very big project. Lots of parts and pieces to it, from online information to videos to a book. Which piece of this grand project inspires you the most? What are you most inspired by? Is it getting the book out there? Is it getting videos done? Is it getting more stuff up on the internet? What inspires you the most?
I would say it's the book, because I think of little me and I think she would be so excited about that. Just having a little picture book that explains all of those like scary words makes it simple and puts like a cute little drawing, and makes it a lot easier to understand. And I also want to like explain that I don't want there to be like any monetary barrier for this. Like I want to have this book also online and like a PDF and also available in rheumatology clinics and stuff. And I don't want there to be any reason for people not to be able to access this, because being sick is already expensive enough, you know? So yeah, thank you for your question.
Thank you so much to our judges for the great questions and feedback. And Maurice, yeah, just amazing. That last line you just said right now, a little bit emotional. So thank you so much. We're going to go on to our next presenter now, who is Matthew Schultes. So Matthew is currently attending McMaster University in Hamilton, where he studies health sciences. He's an advocate for childhood rheumatic disease community, and an active volunteer in both youth-focused and research initiatives. And he also works for Take a Pain Check. So Matthew's project aims to plan a fun and educational event for newly diagnosed families in the Hamilton area, and was inspired by his time volunteering for a program called Project Thrive in Ontario. Over to you, Matthew. You can share your screen and start presenting.
Thank you, Deanie. Can everyone see the slides?
Yeah.
All right, sweet. All right, so hi everyone. My name is Matthew Schultes, and so my project for the Cassie and Friends project is to create an event, and I decided to call it Room for You. So what is the purpose of this event? Well, it is to create an in-person community event that is outdoors. And so it will bring together families of newly diagnosed youth and children with a recent diagnosis of a rheumatic disease. And so there will be an education and a physical activity component to this event. And I also want to create a safe and inclusive environment because this event will have a heavy emphasis on asking questions, especially on the parents' side. So I'm expecting there'll be some very deep questions like what is going to happen to my child like 10 years down the line with this diagnosis. And so parents may not want to ask those questions when like their child is sitting right next to them. So I've decided to come up with activities for this event, and these activities include a Q&A session hosted by a panel of experts for the parents to ask these questions. And I'll get into the experts later on the panel. And so the kids will be split up and they will go to a physio workshop, and hopefully they will learn some habits that they'll be able to incorporate into their daily lives and involve like how to keep moving even during a flare, and also like how to maintain a balance of movement and rest. And also after the events, I will encourage a discussion between the youth to possibly exchange like social media so they can reach out to each other, or to reach out to someone that's going through a similar experience, and also for the parents, because the only ones they can really reach out to is like a doctor or other healthcare practitioners. So having another parent in the community they can reach out to, I feel like would be very useful for them. And so what will these activities look like on the day? Well, it all happens July 9th, 2023. And so at 10:30 in the morning, that will be where all the participants come and arrive. And so there'll be a capacity of 250 participants for this event. And so everyone will start registering, they will take their seats, and at 11 a.m. the event will start. There'll be some opening words, and then the adults and the children will be split off into their different workshops. And then so after an hour or so, it'll be 1:30, and that's when the activities will end. Everyone will come back together and some closing remarks. And then from then on to around like 3 o'clock, I'll encourage a discussion between everyone where they'll be able to exchange numbers or social medias. And then by 3 o'clock, everything will have to shut down. And that's when I have to have everything cleared out of the space. And so now on to the panelists at the event. So you have Dr. Michelle Batiche, who is a pediatric rheumatologist at the McMaster Children's Hospital, and she'll be joined by two of her associates, Julie Harrington and Deegan Southmard. And Julie is a physiotherapist and Deegan is a nurse, and they actually specialize in new referrals to the clinic. So they'll be a help to talk about how to make this process as easy as possible. And there'll also be people there with actual lived experience. So one of Dr. Batiche's patients has agreed to join the panel, and there'll also be a parent there from the community. And so they'll be able to answer questions like what is it like to even have this diagnosis? What's it like being a parent? How do you deal with the stress? Like, what are some strategies to use for certain like medication side effects? So things like that. And so for the physio side of things, it will be hosted by the kids physio group in Hamilton. And so they'll be able to do a variety of exercises that will range from, so say if there is a kid there that having a very bad flare, there'll be like a very low intensity exercise that they'll be able to go through. But then on the other hand, if a kid's like in remission or just feeling really good on that day, there'll be exercises for them to do also. And so where will this event be held? Well, it'll be on McMaster's campus, specifically the JHE field. And so you can see on the photo to the right, in the center there, you can see the JHE field. It's a very large space. And also to the left, right in the center there, that's the green space I'll be using. So yeah, there will be plenty of space for the kids to be able to go around and play, be themselves, and do whatever activities they want to do that day. And so yes, that is it for me. Thank you all very much for listening. Any questions?
Judges?
Matthew, I got a question. You speak very confidently in this event and the dates and the people. Is this actually happening? Is this going on, or is this going to go through? It sounds like you've got a lot of this already set up.
Yes, the really thing is just like sending like, okay, like sending like the bill, like I'll pay for this, like getting that. That's it. But it's everyone that I've talked to is like, yes, I can, like the events, like you have like that space like saved for you. You just need to like pay for it pretty much.
Good for you.
Great presentation. Love that this particular project focuses on physical activity and ways kids can be active. And I think that actually speaks directly to some really important research that's happened across Canada, identifying some barriers for kids and challenges for kids with rheumatic disease to stay active. And one of the things that was identified in that research was the involvement of their parents. And so bringing families together in this way, I think, is so important. And I wondered, for your event and volunteers, et cetera, do you have you formed a committee, or how are you going to basically work towards the execution of the event? And have you thought through things like registration and all of that?
Yeah, so I guess for the volunteer side of things, like it'll be like people registering, they'll just be like my friends in Hamilton. I'll be able to get them. But then all the other volunteers, all the people with lived experience, like they've agreed they'll be there. All the healthcare practitioners, they can be there for the dates. Yeah. So, and you asked about like how to get people, was it, for the second part?
Yeah, I was just wondering about like all your processes and sort of your plan, like July 9th to hit that target date. Like, do you have monthly meetings with your committee, or how are you sort of project planning it to get it to that finish line?
Yeah, so next week I'll have a meeting with the physio group. So they'll be like, okay, what's like the expectations? So I'll be able to advise, like, can you do this? Can you do this? Is this okay? Like, can you have like the variety of everything? Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
And how much do you need to get in funding to make it happen?
So I can pull that up right now, actually. Yes, I want to include it with the wait, hold on, let me change for a second. Get it up. So yes, like right now it seems it'll be between $1,000 to like $1,500. Right now I'm not too sure if the kids physio will ask for any money. Hope not. But like one thing that was absolutely surprising to me was chairs. The amount that chairs cost for an event. Like I'm asking for like $250, and it seems like it's like $2 per chair per day. I'm like, okay, let's make it like half the cost. It's kind of crazy. Yeah.
Amazing. If there's no other comments or feedback from the judges or questions, we are going to move on. But Matthew, thank you so much. I think I speak for everyone. I say we all just want to book our tickets right now and attend the event. We all just do it. Everyone together, a big future leader group. We'll wear matching shirts. Thank you so much, Matthew. Okay, so we are down to our last presenter, last but certainly not least. Judges, you've got a tough decision awaiting for you, but first, let's make your decision even tougher and introduce our last ambassador, Sophie Finn, who is graduating high school this year in Langley, BC. And then next up is UBC in the fall, where she'll be studying arts with the intention of going into pre-law. In 2021, she trained for, completed, and was a top BC fundraiser for the Team Cassie and Friends 10K run. So Sophie's project involves creating resources for newly diagnosed families in our community. And a big component was supporting and organizing the newly diagnosed webinar that happened just in spring this year. Sophie, on to you. You can share your screen when you're ready.
Hi, everyone. I'm just going to pull up my presentation real quick. Let's see. That look okay? Here, let's put this over here.
Perfect.
Okay. Hi, I'm Sophie. I'm 18. I'm a senior in high school. I'm the youngest of the bunch. Like Deanie said, I'm headed to UBC in the fall. I'm really excited to study pre-law. I've been involved with Cassie and Friends for about 5-6 years now. I was super excited when I heard about the Youth Ambassador Program, as I was looking for a way to get further involved in the society. And I'd been actually emailing back and forth with Jennifer for about 2-3 years, asking about different ways to get involved. So I was very excited when I heard about this. My project is greatly inspired by my own experience with misdiagnosis and harsh steroid treatments. So I went through my diagnosis and misdiagnosis from ages 12 to 14. And my mission with my platform was to provide support and guidance for those who are newly diagnosed and bring awareness to harsh steroid treatment experiences. So turning my story from patient to patient advocate, advocating for the struggles that I myself went through and I'm very passionate about. Doesn't want me to do that. There we go. So my project is comprised of 3 components. Website audit on the newly diagnosed page on the Cassie and Friends website, sharing my own story, and then participating in the newly diagnosis webinar. Information. It's what every family and patient wants when being newly diagnosed. After analyzing the newly diagnosis page on the Cassie and Friends websites, I saw some changes that I wanted to see made. You can see on the left is a website audit I put together with 10 key points that I wanted to see changed on the newly diagnosis page on the website. On the right, you can see a clear pathway of steps of support and information for all different kinds of rheumatological diseases. Although my story is unique, it's not foreign to anyone in this community and any patient in the rheumatological umbrella. So what better way to be involved and promote the webinar than with my own story? So I actually wrote a blog that's just a snip of it on the left that's currently published on the Cassie and Friends website about my experience. And then on the right, I hope you can see they're just some of the comments that I got when participating in the webinar. And they're the main reason I became involved with the Cassie and Friends Youth Ambassador Program, and they have created such an impact on me. It's crazy. So what's next for me? I'll also be participating and sharing my own story in the injection support webinar coming up later this year, hoping to make the same impact as you can see in some of those comments that I did in the last one, sharing my own story. I also plan to stay involved with Cassie and Friends even after graduation. And I thank you so much for this opportunity. Since I have a little bit of time, thank you, Deanie. Thank you, Brittany. Other ambassadors, you've inspired me so much. And thank you, board members, for listening.
Thank you so much, Sophie. Again, try not to be emotional. Great use of emojis, everyone. I can see the digital emoji claps. I'm going to pass it now to the judges for feedback and questions.
Sophie, I had a question. Thank you so much for your presentation. I was really interested in you mentioning the steroid treatment, and was wondering if you could speak a little bit more to that. My experience in treating patients and recommending steroids, which isn't too often, is that there's always obviously lots of side effects, and support for the youth and children who experience those side effects is something that to me seems like a gap. So I'm just wondering if you could speak a little bit more to that.
Definitely, I can speak to that. I myself was on very high doses of prednisone, a very high intense steroid drug treatment. It's something I'm very passionate about, and that's why I'm doing the injection support webinar later on in the year. But it's also something I mentioned a lot in the newly diagnosis webinar. Even in questions, there were so many questions from youth about steroid treatment and kind of coping with steroid treatment. So it's definitely a gap I was aiming to fill. And I think with my work later on in the year, it'll definitely help with that. But yeah, that's definitely a big gap that I really hope to continue to help fill.
Sylvie, thanks for your presentation. It was really good, and I'm so glad to hear how willing you are to use your story and your experiences to help others. I think that's such a big important part, especially for young people, to hear from other young people directly. And then I guess reading into what I'm seeing reading into your presentation is that's kind of the way you're going to go, is kind of using your experiences to really find a way to share information out that way.
Yeah, definitely. That's something I think was like my biggest tool.
And is your thought with the project to also collect other stories, direct experiences as well? Is that part of it?
It's not something that was a part of mine, something I'm open to in the future for sure. But I kind of just used myself as like kind of a beacon of hope in a weird way, as you can see from some of the comments there.
Yeah, no, cool. That's awesome. That's so powerful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you, Sophie, for the impact you've already made in working with Cassie and friends on this project and updating our newly diagnosed webpage and adding so much to our virtual education series. And as Cassie and Friends is an organization for all rheumatic diseases, I felt like you really took that approach too and tried to find themes that worked across all conditions that might be under the umbrella of pediatric rheumatology. I wondered though, with your own personal experience with JDM or dermatomyositis, did you see any gaps in being newly diagnosed with JDM that you were particularly passionate about or wanting to change?
For sure. I mean, JDM is definitely one of the rarer ones under the rheumatic umbrella. I know JIA is the big focus for Cassie and Friends. So even in the website audit, one of the biggest things I wanted to do was make sure that there's information for all rheumatic diseases. And there were even some comments originally before the edit actually, that were kind of a bit of assumptions that people already understood. So I made sure that we clarified that there are different kinds of rheumatic diseases and there's different kind of treatment and there's different support for different rheumatic diseases. So definitely something I'm also passionate about.
Amazing. I often wish we had a better name than juvenile arthritis and other rheumatic diseases.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sophie. Amazing presentation, judges, great feedback and questions. I can't believe I'm saying this, but that's it for our presentations. And now it's time, oh my goodness, for our judges to step away. You'll be invited into a breakout room right now. You're going to have about 10 minutes to deliberate and come back and let us know who the Youth Ambassador of the Year is now, who's named the Youth Ambassador of the Year. So just go ahead and join the breakout room. It should be happening right now. Yeah. Oh yeah, I see them. They're disappearing. They're gone. And in the meantime, we're going to sit here awkwardly in silence. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. So while the judges, I think I'm funny and that's all that matters to me. While the judges are deliberating, I think it's just such a fitting time that we also welcome the next chapter of this program and introduce our new cohort of leaders. So we're just going to take a couple minutes. We're going to start with Annalise. Annalise, are you able to turn on your camera and say hello?
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
So my name is Annalise Toko, and I'm from Toronto, Ontario. I'm currently a grade 12 student who will be attending York University in September. I will be majoring in children, childhood, and youth studies, and I also have a direct entry into like the Bachelor of Education program to become a teacher. So my project is to create a platform for children and youth who have rheumatic diseases to have access to mental health resources. And I also want to make this available to parents and adults so they have resources when they have concerns and when they have concerns about their child's mental health and they recognize that they are struggling. I think it's important to have a platform where there's resources provided so that it can just overall have benefits to their mental health.
Amazing. Thank you. I'm so excited to start this journey with you. We also have Cynthia. Cynthia, are you able to hop on?
Yeah, of course. Hi, everyone. My name is Cynthia, and I'm currently an undergraduate student studying biochemistry at Rutgers University in New Jersey. And I was diagnosed with JIA when I was about 10 years old. And so through this project, I hope to encourage the Asian American community to speak about their stories of disabilities, because it's often a stigmatized topic in this community. And I actually didn't speak about my condition until late into like high school. And I feel like it's very important to advocate for rheumatic diseases, which is what I hope to do in the future.
Amazing. Thank you, Cynthia. Next, we have Emily.
Hi, everybody. My name's Emily Bessie. I'm from Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia. I'm currently a university student attending St. Thomas University in Fredericton, New Brunswick. There, I'm doing a double major in fine arts, musical theatre, and women's and gender studies, and a double minor in human rights and sociology. And I'm hoping to, after that, eventually go on to either a bachelor's of education program or postgrad studies in child life. I've been diagnosed with JIA since I was 5 years old, and my project is going to be focusing on specifically better informing and educating teachers and other kinds of educators on what rheumatic conditions are, how they're impacting students at school, and what they can do to better support and accommodate and ultimately empower students in their classrooms. And kind of my ultimate goal with this project is to help create a more inclusive and accessible space at school, and really create a more positive experience for not only students with rheumatic conditions, but other chronic illnesses and disabilities and invisible illnesses as well.
Amazing. Thank you, Emily. And then we have Graham.
Hi, I'm Graham. I am a 24-year-old, currently based in Vancouver, but I'm originally from Prince Edward Island. I finished my degree in computer science, so now I'm a software engineer. But on the side, I do a lot of music, and I write and sometimes record some music. So for this project, what I'd like to do is collect people's stories, find out sort of what people's journeys are with JIA, and compile those into an album so that we have music that we as people with rheumatic diseases can relate to.
Amazing. Thank you, Graham. And last but not least, Kayla, but I think I saw in the comments that Kayla unfortunately had to leave. If this isn't true, Kayla, jump on. No, okay. So Kayla isn't able to introduce herself, but Kayla Malza will also be joining us, and you will learn more about all the details about our amazing new cohort. Shortly, we'll make sure they'll be on our website, and if you really want to know, in a year you'll be seeing them all present. So watch these faces, watch this space. And yeah, I'm just so happy you've all joined us in this next cohort journey. I think is going to be amazing. While we wait, because I think the judges have a few more minutes left, I wanted to talk to you all about another program, just as like an advertisement while we wait for the judges to come back. And it's a program, actually, all our current ambassadors who present today, they're all part of it. It's our youth mentorship program. So I don't know if any of you have heard of the youth mentorship program. If you have, let me see some hand raising or in the comments. Obviously our presenters, yeah, I see. So our youth mentorship program is newly launched. We launched it actually on the National Day of Youth Mental Health, Sunday, May 7th. And so what it is we have a team of trained mentors, youth mentors who all, have gone through the experience of living with a pediatric rheumatic disease. And they've been trained. We've been using the peer-to-peer training through Sick Kids. And they've become mentors. So through this intensive training, they've also done additional training with jack.org to make sure they have that additional support with mental health. They're now ready to connect with other youth in our community, children and youth, young adults who want to talk to someone, whether it's specifically about their diagnosis, or how do you tell your friends, how do you travel with prescriptions, the transition, how do you move across the country or going into university, how do you stay physically active, dating, everything. So these mentors are now here ready to connect, and we're using Jane, the Jane app. You may have heard of it before. So it's an online platform, it's safe, secure. So all of these meetings will be held virtual. And it's really exciting. I'm almost scared to talk about it too much because I'm quite emotional about it. Because just seeing all our ambassadors and youth and everyone who's participated in it go through the training and learn and put in all the work and time and effort to get everything set up. Sorry if you heard that honk. It's been incredible. And so we've launched, and we're welcoming mentees to become a mentee, or if you know someone who wants to be a mentee, you can go through our website. We have a youth mentorship page, and you fill out the form, and then we start your journey of getting you matched up. It's a really exciting thing. I'm really trying hard not to get too emotional. But yeah, so if you haven't heard of it, you know of it now. We've been promoting it a lot on our social media. So hopefully you have seen it. Oh man, okay, so our judges should be coming back any minute, but while we wait, I'm hoping that everyone because obviously it was only the judges who were providing feedback, but you know, it would be amazing if everyone could share even just one word to describe the impact these presentations made on them today in the comments. So let's, yeah, everyone write a word. Let's celebrate these leaders, because honestly, if I could buy a giant cake and balloons for all 6 of them, each of them, I would, because they deserve it for all the work they've done, and it's just so inspiring. Oh, good. Yeah, I see some great comments. Inspirational, uplifted. Oh, I like that one. Motivational, 100%. Proud. Yes, proud. Inspired. Beautiful. Oh, these are good words. Hyped. Oh, very nice. You know what? I'm definitely hyped right now. I feel that. That's very good. Okay. Oh, excited. Yes. Not feeling alone. Y'all are really trying to make me cry today. Yeah, no, that's definitely, and that's what I think is the beauty of this program is it can feel quite alienating to have a rare diagnosis, and you know, to maybe not have people around you in person that get it. And so a program like this, where you not only connect with people like that, but then build up yourselves and projects to help others, it's just phenomenal. Connected, great one. Every presentation was, I'm just reading them out now, because every presentation was so awesome. It was nice getting to know a little bit more about each and every one of you, and I can't wait for all the amazing work you'll do for the JA community. Thank you so much for your hard work. Wow, yeah, exactly. No, it's wonderful. It is wonderful. I just want to check in now with the judges. Oh, I think the judges are coming back right now. Are they popping back? I think Brittany's, oh, I think I see. Yes. Okay, so we're gonna let the judges come in. Technical.
I just have a little update. I popped into the room.
Oh, perfect.
On the wall. They are really having a tough go of trying to narrow it down to one person, and I can't say I'm surprised. So feel free to take like a 2-minute break to get a glass of water, have a little bio break, stretch your legs, and maybe keep your volume on, and we'll just say like, okay, we're back when they're all here. But I think maybe 2 minutes and then come back and check in.
You know what? That's totally fair. It is an incredibly hard decision to make. So 2 minutes, everyone.
Awesome. Were you trying to find me, Deanie?
Yeah, because I thought it was all the other judges coming back in, and then I was like, wait, I don't see their names popping up, but something's happening, and then.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. Did you see all the comments everyone made about the presentation?
Yeah, that was like when I left, because I was like, okay, you're doing something. Oh no, all the chat when you leave a room and you come back in, all the chat leaves. So could you copy and paste all the? I know you can download it, but it's not in a nice format when you download it. If you could copy and paste everything for us, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so sad. I wanted to come back and read them all.
Very honestly, it's made me emotional. I didn't think I would want to cry today, but
Aw. No, they're all so
we might.
sweet.
They're
And
amazing,
little
honestly.
cutie on the screen right here, Lisa Dawn, such a cutie that we have tuning in. Oh,
I love it. I'm so glad that.
Sweetie, you can say hi.
Hi.
This is Layla Bell.
Hi, Layla Bell. How are you?
Good.
I love that you've been tuning in and listening to all the presentations. Are you learning a lot?
The future ambassador here.
Yeah, definitely.
My brother has FAP, and I was wondering if that's included in Cassie and Friends.
Say that one more time.
My brother has FAPA, and I
Yeah.
wonder if that's included in Cassie and Friends.
It sure is. Yeah, we have a few kids in the community with PFAPA. If your brother ever wants to get connected with someone else who has the same diagnosis with PFAPA, let us know.
Yeah, so you've got JIA and he has PFAPA, so you guys are good support to each other too.
Exactly. Yeah, a dynamic duo. How old are you, Layla?
I am 8 years old.
You're 8 years old, such a great age. I would go back to 8, and then I would skip over all my teen years and go right into my 20s.
I would even skip the first couple years of being 20 myself.
Yeah.
I think we all would.
And where
Layla
are you
about to try her very first ever baseball. So we're just walking to the diamond right now.
Oh, cool. That's so fun. Where are you guys?
In London? In London, and I think it's London, Ontario.
That's very cool.
It's London, Ontario, but is it down to we're north end? Okay, so in the north.
I've never been to London, Ontario, but that's where Matthew on the call is originally from.
All right, so this might be a good time for us to head out. Your baseball's about to start. So thank you very much for including her for this. She's been very keen for the whole 2 hours.
Well, thank you for tuning in. She was so adorable to just watching us. And so I hope to see you guys again at another event.
Sure. Thank you. I'm going to hang up now because her baseball starts at 4.
Yeah,
So
enjoy the
thank you for
baseball.
including her. Take care.
Of course. Bye-bye. And I hear judges are coming back. So Deanie, I'm going to hand it back over to you.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so everyone, let's join back in. We are starting, and when the judges are back, I'm just trying to see if they're.
Yeah, I think they're all here now.
Oh, okay, perfect. Sorry, I couldn't see that. It's not showing for me for some reason. Then David, I'm gonna pass it on to you, I think. If you're ready to announce.
I'm ready. Thanks, Deanie. And thanks everybody for your presentations today. They were all incredible. And the only reason that we came back was because somebody said, it's already 1 o'clock and everybody's waiting, so we better go back. We were going to stay deliberating and discussing the details of all of them for quite a while. But I want to first thank all of you for your amazing presentations and these amazing ideas that you've come up with and that you've developed. They offered all kinds of different. It was so interesting, the unique ways, and to hear it in your words, in each of your words, unique ways that you saw that you could contribute. It was interesting. 2 of them had books being written. There was a lot, big level of engagement. We were looking at how these projects will support families and support kids and how they move forward. We also looked at all of them and said how attainable and achievable are them. We had a few of the people in the room saying, that's an interesting project, and I'd like to connect with the person after and see if there's a way that I can help them along with their project. So it was really interesting, and I won't take too much time because I know we're a few minutes over, but I've said many times that and I've met lots and lots of young people and young adults with juvenile arthritis and other rheumatic diseases, and I was even having this conversation the day before yesterday with somebody about this, and there's something about you guys that is different than other kids. You have something in you that is very unique and very powerful. And to see today how you guys are channeling that power for this is pretty amazing and pretty incredible. And I wouldn't say I'm surprised to have seen these amazing projects. I'm not surprised at all, because I know that your life experiences have made you guys into something strong and unique and special in a way that you don't even notice or think about every day. But people around you certainly notice. Now, saying all of that, we had to choose a Youth Ambassador of the Year. And what did somebody say in the room? They said, they're like all my children. I can't choose between my children. I want all my children to be the Youth Ambassador of the Year. But we decided that wasn't what we were going to do. So without further ado, all the projects were amazing and incredible. And as I said, there's judges that want to reach out to you after to discuss them and find ways to go forward with some of them. But we awarded our Youth Ambassador of the Year to Alejandra for her project. We love the project. We love the ability to execute it. We love the ability to see the resources get on the website. One of the judges said, wow, your project's so interesting way that you could even engage some of the other youth ambassadors here that want to do similar things into your project and use them, some of the resources they're creating. Kira's creating things that like fit right into that project. We're like, oh, okay, there's kind of like this connection between all of them. And Maurice also some connections between what she wants to do and what Alejandra is already doing. So just would encourage you to find a way to actually find some ways to come together, and want to just again thank all of you for your amazing projects and opportunity to continue and find ways to keep going with them. And congratulations, Alejandra. We had to choose one, and just love your project and the simplicity of it, and love the ability to make it happen and have those resources there that'll live on for all the kids and families to access, and all these new voices to hear talking about what their experiences are and how to be able to be successful going forward with their challenges. Matthew gave a woohoo, so I'll share his woohoo.
Thank you so much, David, and all the judges. I know it was incredibly an impossible decision to make. Alejandra, congratulations, amazing. And to all our ambassadors, truly, I just started, I joined Cassie and Friends at the beginning of the year, and I can't even, words cannot describe how blown I am away by the Cassie and Friends community and the youth leaders in our community. It's truly remarkable. It's indescribable. So congratulations to, thank you for all the work you've done. I also want to give a big thank you to Brittany for your leadership through the first year of the program, and the entire community, the Cassie and Friends team and community, for always putting kids and youth first. So as we're closing out, I'm just dropping in a survey in the chat box. And in this survey, there is one of the questions is whether or not you would like to continue knowing or connecting with a certain project that was presented today. So I really encourage you all to fill it out. It's just a few questions. It also helps us improve this event and the entire program in general. So if you can take a moment to fill it out before you sign off. And that's it. Thank you everyone for attending. Congratulations to our ambassadors. I don't want the event to end because it's just been so inspirational. Judges, just while you were deliberating, we actually asked everyone to put in the chat words to describe the event and the presentations they saw, and the words were inspirational, uplifted, proud, inspired, hype, not feeling alone, connected. So those were just some of the words the audience put in. So it's just been a truly remarkable, not only just day, this showcase, but year. So congratulations everyone, and thank you so much. Please fill out the survey and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, judges.
Bye. Thank you, judges.